Guess we're ready. All right, my name is Michael Guerin. As chair, I call this regularly scheduled meeting of the Historic District Commission to order this 12th day of November 2020. There is a quorum present. The roster of the staff to the commission, of the commission members, and the technical posts that they fill in accordance with the requirements of the Hagerstown zoning ordinance are on file with the city of Hagerstown, are available on request to any applicant, and are hereby made a part of the legal record of each and every application heard today. All decisions rendered are based on the Secretary of Interior standards and guidelines as adopted by the city of Hagerstown. Each decision is made on a case-by-case basis and is not intended to be precedent-setting. If you have any cell phones or any other electronic devices, please make sure they have been silenced. Please note all meetings are recorded and broadcast live on YouTube. We have two types of cases today: consent agenda and design review. For the consent agenda, I'll ask anybody in our audience if they have any issues with those particular cases. If they do not, then I will ask commission members if they have any issues with any of the consent agenda items. If there are no issues, then we will blanket approve those particular cases and those applicants will be free to go. When we call for design reviews, when your case is called, please come to the table and join with the commission. For the record, please state your name and address. There will be a brief synopsis of your application by our staff consultant. The floor will then be turned over to the applicant for any further elaboration. After that, the floor will then be open for discussion by the commission members prior to rendering a decision on that particular application. At this time, we have approval of the minutes for October 8th, 2020 and October 22nd, 2020. I'll entertain a motion if any corrections, modifications, additions, corrections. So, note.
Move to approve.
Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of the minutes for October 8th and October 22nd, 2020 signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. All right, consent agenda item, HDC case 2020-38, 1036 Terrace for a roof replacement. I take it nobody here is to speak out against that particular case. All right, commission members, any concern with this particular application? All right, everybody seems to be in agreement. We'll entertain a motion to approve.
Mr. Chairman, I have reviewed the material submitted in case number HDC 2020-38 and its associated staff report and recommendations. I have viewed the property in question. The staff report recommends approval of this application as consistent with the applicable standards adopted by this commission, and no one has appeared at this hearing with concerns about, issues with, or objections to this application. Therefore, I move that this commission adopt the staff evaluation and recommendations in this case as its own and grant a certificate of appropriateness to the applicant for case number HDC 2020-38.
All right, is there a second to the motion?
Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries.
You're done.
Steve, on this application, you don't have an owner's signature.
Well, we can fix that.
All right. Next up, it's design review, HDC case 2020-37, 151 South Potomac Street for some alterations. If you can state your name and address for the record, please.
Hi, my name is Chip Alsop. I'm the architect representing Hub Bubbles at 151 South Potomac Street.
Okay, this is HDC case 2020-37. The applicant is Hub City Bubbles LLC. The property is located at 151 South Potomac Street. This is in the downtown historic district. The building is a B resource. It contributes to the character of the district, but is not likely to qualify for National Register listing individually. Photograph of the property is shown on page 1 of your staff report. Design guidelines that are applicable are the downtown guidelines, pages 23 through 28. The description of work and plans. The applicant is proposing the following alterations to this building. 1, new front door, replace undersized, functionally obsolete in-swinging doors with fire code approved commercial door and side light consisting of tempered glass, out-swinging panic bar. See the notes in the application. Number 2, work on the rear of the building. Cover the rear wall of the building with exterior insulation and finish systems, or EFIS. Replace existing aluminum door. Surround exhaust vent elbow with black chain link security fencing and replace overhead bottle glass with fixed lights. Number 3, louvers on the north side of the wall at the top of existing window openings. Replace broken bottle glass with intact bottle glass using some of the glass removed to install the metal air intake louvers. The existing intake louvers to remain. And then 4, repair the storefront using glass and door described in the HPG quote. The appropriate sections of the design guidelines were included in your packet. The storefront, staff recommends approval with the condition that the box signs on the side of the building are removed as they're zoning violations. Just to give you a little bit of background, everybody knows what this building is. I've worked for the city for 18 years and I think it's been vacant the entire time. So the idea that somebody's looking to renovate this building and put a use into it is fantastic for the downtown area. Probably one of the more distressed looking buildings at the moment. The storefront itself is a complete replacement. It probably dates, I would say, to the 1960s would be my guess, 50s maybe. Definitely not what was originally on that building. So there's no real historic value to the existing front area. Regarding the chain link fence, typically that is not something that's approved in the downtown historic district. However, it is far enough off the street on the back toward the alley. It's not really visible. Staff has no concerns about it in this particular circumstance of what it's being used for. It's a small area being used to protect the large exhaust fan on the back of the building. Given the circumstances, staff has no objection. There's no signage that's proposed as part of this application yet. That'll be coming at a later date. We asked if they wanted to do that now, and they said they wanted to hold off, and that's fine. But there's no signage as part of this application at the moment. Staff's only other comment, and I want to get some feedback from you all, is behind the building, as you can see, there's a sign on there that says parking to the rear, and there's an area that's a broken up and overgrown kind of gravel pseudo asphalt kind of thing. Basically, it's been overgrown. If they're looking to put that back into use for parking, staff has no objection to it. It's only talking space for maybe 2 or 3 spaces, I'm guessing. But if they're going to do that, it really ought to be asphalted. It ought to be paved if it's going to have public use. The question I have is would you want, if they're going to decide to do that, would you want to see an application come back for the asphalt paving? I don't think there's really anything for you to look at, but if you don't mind, I'd like to get some direction from you all today. So if they decide to move forward with that, we don't have to come back over it. So, and with that, Mr. Alsop's here to make his presentation.
I don't see a problem with that.
I don't have a problem with it either. If it's off-street parking and you can add 3 or 4 spaces back there.
It's more than that.
Yeah, it will alleviate some of the problems of parking along South Potomac Street.
If it's more than 7, then we have landscaping requirements
Yeah.
that kick in. So let's keep it under 7.
Okay.
Unless, of course, you want to do landscaping, then that's a whole nother conversation. I'm just trying to keep it as simple for you as possible. But if there's going to be parking back there, it ought to have a decent paved surface. So
I know the owner's intention is to use it as is for now.
if it's going to be used for parking, it needs to be paved. Staff, I mean, we saw this and it's like, this is fantastic, you know, getting this use back in here.
Great.
I have my only question is there a plan to clean up the second floor windows?
What do you mean by clean them out?
Well, if you look at the pictures, whatever's hanging inside looks like it's about ready to fall down. If they would just hang something in there that's more appropriate than just what's there. Maybe remove that air conditioner too.
Kind of outside the purview of this body, telling people what to hang on the inside of their windows.
It's just
Yeah.
clean it up.
You can ask, but yeah.
That's really beyond the scope of this project.
Yeah, I
We're here to get the
understand.
building permit for the laundromat freed up. I really don't know what's going on in the second
Okay.
floor of that building. I do know that the owner intends to convert that back to an apartment at some point in the near future.
Okay.
All right, Mr. Alsop, anything to add?
I think, yeah, Steve covered pretty much the summary. I know the owner would like to keep the signage that's on the side of the building there until the new signage is addressed. Ultimately, he'd like to put an LED sign on the side of the building for changes in daily specials, similar to what went on the Maryland Theater.
All right, well, that'll be a separate application at this point, so.
Yes,
For
he's
signage,
not
yes.
prepared to do that at this
Okay.
point. But he would like to keep the sign that's there now until that application is reviewed and approved.
I mean, as far as the zoning
Between you and
violation,
them,
because we don't,
those sign boxes should have been taken down many years ago. The zoning ordinance says when a business is no longer in place, signs are supposed to go away, but it's flown under the radar for who knows how long. I mean, if you want to hold off until a new sign package comes in, that's fine, but we're talking probably 30-year plus old
right,
obsolete cabinets here.
Well, I suspect he's going to come back sometime between now and occupancy with that application, because the sign is going to support the new business that's moving in.
Excuse me. So we're only looking at the first floor on this application, even though the area in the back may be a little higher? How are we looking at this? So we're clear?
It's all first floor. The second floor that was referenced is kind of in the front third of the building.
Mm-hmm.
That's a second floor apartment. That has nothing to do with this
Okay.
application.
Yeah.
The work in the rear is part of this application.
I would say it's a sloped shed roof to the back, you know, once it clears that two-story portion, then it drops down to a one-story. So
It
that's
actually
where that
slopes towards the alley.
alley, right, okay.
There's a parapet along the back of the
Right.
building.
All right, commission members, concerns? Questions? All right, well, it sounds like, I guess everybody's in agreement to move this one forward, so we'll entertain a motion for adoption.
Somebody.
So move to consent agenda?
You use the.
Motion to approve.
Oh,
You just pick the items here. that you think apply.
okay. Mr. Chairman, I have inspected the project plans and the property in question, and if constructed in accordance with these plans, the project is compatible with the character of the district for the reasons that the architectural detailing, general form, and proportion are generally in harmony with the architectural design guidelines for the commercial historic district and the character of the adjoining properties. Therefore, I move that the HGC grant a certificate of appropriateness to the applicant for case number HGC 2020-37.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right, any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries.
Thanks.
I'll sign off on the permit tomorrow.
Okay, thank you.
Is the one that used to be? Michael. Used to be OPO men's clothing.
All right, we have no design workshops. Under new business, we have Board of Zoning Appeals agenda for 1039 The Terrace for a 6-foot fence in the front yard along the West Urban Avenue.
Yes, this is a BZA case on a property. It's located in the historic district. This is the property at the southwest corner of the terrace at West Irvin. It's a colonial revival house. The way of course, all the houses along that side of the terrace are set back from the road. This property actually has a relatively small backyard. They're looking to fence their backyard. They can put any type of fence that they, well, not any type, but because you're in the historic district, but you can do a 6-foot tall fence in the rear, behind the rear face of the house. And they're looking to do that. So they would have a fence that would come off the right rear corner of the house, parallel with the rear face of the house over to West Irvin, along the sidewalk, and then enclose their backyard. But again, the whole thing is still relatively shallow. They're asking the Board of Zoning Appeals for a variance to allow them to take that fence out to the front face of the house. So what will happen is that fence in that area that's between the front and rear facades of the house, between the house and Irvin, would be now 6 foot as well. The ordinance would otherwise limit it to 3 feet in height. From a zoning standpoint, staff has no objection to it. They do have when you go to the Board of Zoning Appeals, you need to show a unique condition associated with your property that creates difficulties for you to have the same reasonable use of your property as those around you. The shallowness of the backyard, I think they make a decent argument for it. This body still has the architectural review of the design of the fence, so you're not looking at somebody throwing up a chain link fence or a vinyl, Lowe's privacy fence. It's going to be a vertical metal picket, it's going to look like a wrought iron fence is what it's going to look like, made out of aluminum. But staff has no objection to it. But since it's in the historic district, we wanted to bring your attention to it and see if you wanted to comment on it at all.
Commission member?
I have a question. If, from a procedural standpoint, if the BZA approves their request and comes to us, does that place any burden on us about that, or is it irrelevant to our look at the piece?
I believe as a function of, I don't think it does. Because just because somebody can build a 7-story tall building in the downtown doesn't mean this body is going to approve one, given the surroundings of that particular location. So I think the answer to that is no.
Is it also precedent setting at the BZA with, if another neighbor wanted to do the same thing on the same criteria, they would apply that, or is each case handled separately like this board?
Each one is considered separately on its own merits. But what will happen here is the area you would perceive as the front is still going to stay open and unfenced. So picture, like I said, it's a colonial revival brick house. The fence will come off the right front corner of the house, go straight over to Irvin, and then wrap around on the back of the sidewalk in Irvin. So everything that's forward of the house is still not going to be fenced. So what we're talking about here is a difference between 3 and 6 feet in the area between the front and rear. It's very, very focused. It's increasing the permitted height of the fence from 3 feet to 6 feet in that small area that's between the rear face of the house and the front face of the house. So, but given what they're proposing with the material, the unique conditions of their backyard, staff had no objection to it.
Do we need a formal vote on that or not?
Only you decide you want to take action if it's not worth doing anything about.
I'm not interested until we see what they say.
The black aluminum fence is similar to what the woman installed at the corner of East Irvin and Hamilton. It's black aluminum. I think it's the same thing. Yeah. Okay.
Is the fence up already or no? Okay. So if I'm understanding, the commission just would sit tight until they actually make a submission if the zoning board approves.
I agree.
Correct.
Yeah,
All right.
it'll come to you like any other application, so.
All right. So no action on that. Any other news business that needs to be brought before the commission? Hearing none.
Well, we do have a new elected body taking their seats here very soon, before the next time you meet. So we'll have a new mayor, several new council people, some not so new council people.
And I attended a meeting today to just tell them a little bit about HDC. We may have one of the council members, as we had in the years past, actually sit in ex officio on this particular body. So I'm not sure if anybody will step forward. We'll find out. All right, any old business needs to be brought before the commission?
Do we have any updates on the fence? The fence, the picket wood fence at Forest, and it's been on our old agenda, it's been our old business for a while. The fence that was installed off at Forest Drive,
Yeah.
830 something.
I put that onto our
Okay.
inspections office and I haven't heard back yet.
Okay.
So, but I have referred it. So,
All right,
One more old thing, the people at the corner of North Avenue and Mulberry still have not put a top on that fence yet. I was by there again today.
Fairgrounds in Mulberry?
Mhm.
No.
North
Fairgrounds.
Avenue and Mulberry. North
North
Avenue and
and,
Mulberry.
north and Mulberry. Yeah. Do you remember when that was approved?
that was what, August?
Not too long ago.
Oh, it's August.
And last quarter or
August,
so.
maybe early part of September.
If it's that recent, I'll probably reach out to them and remind them, but I'm not going to beat on them for probably until spring. We don't want to look like we're too aggressive. So
All right,
if we're only talking, it's only been like a couple months. So, thank you.
all right. Any other old business? Any announcements? All right, keep in mind, next month, I guess it is this month, November, we have only one meeting, and December, we only have one meeting. So hopefully caseloads will be relatively limited. Upcoming, as far as schedule, I know Debbie's been working on putting the schedule together for next year. There's meeting dates and times. At this point, I know the question was raised to me in my schedule. No clue, because there has been absolutely no decisions made by minor league baseball or MLB either. I don't even know if we have any player agreements with the local affiliate. So at this point, everything, I guess, is still at 4:30 unless something crops up. So I have no clue if there will even be a season next year.
That's right, we still run there, do we?
No. So any other announcements? Hearing none, is there a motion to adjourn?
I wanted to say that the materials, I think, also are in accordance with the 151 South Potomac.
So you're amending your motion just to clarify?
Yes.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
So moved. So everybody, we'll see everybody on December 10th. Enjoy your Thanksgiving.
You sitting at home looking at each other.
Yeah, I worked with the game day operations.
Yeah, I was looking at it
and
later.
the,
I think I think you
Say green day?
game day.
Did we get the thing
I've been the beer man for like 30 some years. Or I